Welcome back to the channel. Very glad you're here. I am Jennifer Hale, a several-decade veteran of this industry, and this video is part of an ongoing series answering just general questions about voice acting. Today's question is, how do I make different voices for voice acting? Okay, I love this one. There's so many cool ways to do this. Number one, you can change pitch. So instead of my voice being right here, my voice could be down here. And I could be a lower pitched voice. Now what I've done physically is dropped it into my chest. I have changed a little bit of where I'm placing it in my mouth, and I can feel it actually resonating in my lower body more.
Or I could pitch it up here, and I could sound younger for that, or like an older person who just happens to have a higher pitched voice.
So pitch is one way. The other way is placement. I can talk like this,
and I can talk like this through my nose more. And that's just a difference, the same pitch. It's just coming in through my nose. And that automatically brings to mind certain character traits, certain ways of doing it, and things like that. I could pop it. I could change the way I move my mouth when I talk as a particular character. So check this out. When I talk like me, I just talk like me and I don't think about it. But I could give my character some kind of an affectation in their jaw where they can't move their jaw very much, so it sounds like this. I can also give them a lisp, like they've got a particular formation in their tongue, so then they speak this way. Or if they're little, and that's kind of fun when they're a little kid and they're like this, and they have these.
And I've taken this to extremes. For some parts, a project that I can't talk about because it's still under NDA a decade later. And like Powerpuff Girls, I did a character called Big Mary, and I need water for this one.
It's going to get kind of messy in here because you put lots of water in your mouth and then you flub it around like this, and I usually use a towel. Now this character can be a young character because I move my pitch up, or it can be a bigger, older character who does more like this.
Now I'm going to incorporate some mouth movement with that too. You ready?
I'm gonna make them move their mouth a lot because they maybe have a large jaw, and then it's gonna sound like that.
Now that just rolled me into an accent, right? I involuntarily went into an accent. You got to keep all these little pieces straight, right? None of these characters have had accents yet. And those are ways to make different voices too. Now we don't use accents and dialects as much in voice acting these days as we used to. Now with people really getting much more fair representation and being cast in roles that are more who they are. We don't do that as much, but it's a great tool to have in your pocket, especially when you're doing something like science fiction where you're in different universes. I know I've done characters where I'll do a mix of accents like this, and maybe it goes over here and it's got some Brit in it, and then it's got a little bit of Kiwi in it, and then it's got a bit of Aussie, or it's got some Eastern European kind of a sound to her, but she also has some French in there. I mean, it's a mess. You know, you have to really be careful and track when you do these mashup accents, because you can be asked to go back and redo them years later, and you got to be able to reproduce it, and you got to be able to keep it consistent. So make notes about how you mishmash these accents up. You can do a Southern accent. If there are people in your family who you know who speak in a particular way, they have an accent. Maybe you've got some relatives that were from down south or from up in Canada, up north somewhere, hey? Then you can roll it into there. So we've touched on pitch, placement in the body,
in the nose,
or in the chest, someone who speaks like this. You can do tightness in here to change it, but make sure you're doing it in a way that doesn't hurt you. So those are all placement things. You can do like certain characters will speak very clearly in the way they enunciate. And others sort of do like this, and they're kind of harder to understand. That was the same pitch, same placement, but different personalities coming out of the way you move your mouth. So there's the way you move your mouth. So we have pitch, placement, the way you move your mouth, accents, and really behind all of it is going to be who the character is. Look in that writing and see, is this a person who's really assertive? That's going to give you a different sound versus someone who is more tentative and kind of holds back. So those are some elements to play with. Have fun, and we'll see you on the next one.